atmospheric. Free-range chicken.
Okay, guys, sorry. Yeah, is it okay to leave the stick there? Someone takes it. Yeah, alright. Hello everybody, my name is Lino, I watch the Charles Veitch channel and I hope you're all alright. Thank you very much.
Okay everybody, we are here at Salford Royal Hospital, known locally as Hope Hospital. A lot of things around here Hope. There's the Hope Church, the Hope Library, and the former Hope Hospital. As you can see from La Fountain, it's Salford Royal. So, why are we outside the hospital? Well, I just want to say a few final things about the pandemic. I hope they're final. I said about 10 days ago that we are at the brink in terms of pandemic management, in terms of, you know, keeping our mainstream hat on for a second, in terms of vulnerable people being vaccinated, not just once, having 2 doses, all the studies coming out saying it's very effective against severe illness. I'm starting to see a lot more elderly people in the supermarket, sometimes without masks. They even smile at me. They don't recoil in disgust and horror at my birth-faced plague status. So, yeah, my parents have had their double dose of the vaccine, I believe. Maybe I'm confused. They've certainly had their first one about a month ago. Kids are back at school. You should see the mortality rate, the death rate, the daily death rate in this country has plummeted to, yeah, not many. A few dozen. Yesterday was 17. So, and also, after Boris Johnson's 5 p.m. study yesterday, we are now below average mortality for the year, you know, for any year. Like the amount of people that would be dying in the last week of March in any given year, be it 2010, 2012, 2017, 2021, is below average. So, has science won? Has the collective desire of the world to avoid the coof with very clever vaccines, has it won? Well, let's pause this for a second because we are at the brink. Why are we at the brink? Well, you know, everyone was getting very excited about summer holidays. We're all going on a etc, etc. And so, you know, all the airliners, you know, the big ones, the holiday companies, they're all like saying, yay, book, look, you probably won't even need this or that. Greece, Portugal, Spain, fucking Italy, Turkey, all the favorites of British people going abroad. And now what did the government do yesterday? Boom. Unless you have a fantastically good reason to go internationally, you will get a £5,000 fine for going on holiday. So imagine yesterday the frantic phone calls, the bookings, the desperations to cancel these expensive package holidays. And can you imagine how expensive these package holidays are being sold as for the first holiday after the pandemic? So why are we at the brink? We are at the brink because if our dear leaders and their scientific advisory group of experts, SAGE, if they try and put everyone into another lockdown, if they try and send my children home from school, if they shut everything down and bring in stricter rules because cases or deaths start to creep back up, I don't think the public are going to accept it. I think there are going to be riots and destruction, and it'll make Bristol, and even Bristol last night, there's another 150 of them, that'll make it look like child's play, cosplay, little bit of fun, wearing the anarchists' little uniform. But make the vast majority of the people believe that okay, right. So if you make the vast majority of people in the Western world believe that the pandemic response is a smokescreen for either environmentalism or worldwide authoritarian communism or the end of individualism and freedom from the 20th century in terms of now you're not allowed to travel without a good reason, if people suspect that all the sacrifices of World War I, World War II, the Cold War, the dismantling of the Soviet Union, and all these other repressive states, if people believe that after all our great-granddads and fathers gave their lives for our personal freedom, individual freedom, for Western values, and then we sell it all out to be Chinese authoritarian, I don't think your average Englishman, American man, Canadian man, New Zealander, Australian, German, Swedish, French, Italian, Spanish, Greek, and everyone else, they're not going to accept it. There's already this hatred between the people and the government that we get treated like pawns on a chessboard. People have had enough, and we are literally at the precipice. We are at the edge. We are on that tightrope. And all it takes is one spark of the government saying, sorry, you've endured 1 year of it, have another 3 years. It's not going to end. Oh, look, there's this new strain. Oh, look, these people haven't been vaccinated. It's all their fault. So, yeah, very interesting moment right now that either it's all going to open up in the next few months, or they're going to lock it all down again and it will lead to worldwide civil war, like violence like we've never seen before, because turns out Maslow's hierarchy of needs was slightly incorrect. Above food and shelter comes dignity and meaning. If you've got dignity and meaning, you can go hungry for a bit, you can sit out in the rain, but try having a full belly when you're an inmate in a zoo. Having a full belly with a roof over your head when you're in Her Majesty's open air prison, Manchester. Well, if my vibes are worth anything, let's open it all up. Let's not head towards another lockdown, which will invariably lead to a massive war. Let's not do it. So I came into Buell Hill Park to have a look at some weird ass abandoned building, which I've not seen before. It's actually confusing me greatly. And as the yellow sign behind us just says, there's another testing site here. It's everywhere. Bloody hell. It begins. Buell Hill House? Buell House? Turned into a gym, look. Oh yeah. Okay, we're in. I had no idea there was literally an abandoned... What are you doing, squirrel face? Abandoned area near me. Bloody hell. Oh, Pigeon World. Okay. Can we get back out? Yes, we. So, just to give you context, Manchester is that way, south. Buell House is this structure here. And here next to it is this cordoned off area where one of the gardeners told me he would have to call security. And I said, no, you don't, sir. You don't have to call security. So here we are, where this one looks newer, but just as abandoned. We'll start at the newer one, and then we'll come back to these bad boys. As is always the way with life, you deal with one shit pie, as in a strong reinforced metal thing that's bolted down. You deal with that, and there's a bloody 2 wooden panels behind it. They've had to go at the lock, but they've not gotten in. Now, this is a former greenhouse. Very cool. Wooden framed. So it's not that old. It's done in the style of the Victorian glass structures. Crystal Palace, Alexandra Palace, or Barton Arcade in Manchester. So as you can see, there's some metal inside it, some structural metal inside, but it's mostly wood. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. But anyway, we're back. On the modern building, you've got your graffitis and some literary wordsmith has come up with this great insult. For the international audience, Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister, and the word nonce is a word for a paedophile. Come around the side. I love it. It's all dangerous building, this, blah, 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 vandal, anti-climb, vandal paint. Vandal paint? Weren't the Vandals the guys who sacked Rome? Et, mon Dieu, les fleurs sont très jolies. Les fleurs, les fleurs. Hello. Gorgeous. Did these guys escape the abandoned greenhouse? You don't see blue very often in nature. Naturally. And boom, burnt out structure over there. The edge of the door frame has been burnt. And you can see, oh, whoa, look at that. Look, this is just for interest, this is what I tripped on. Some graffiti can. And you can see here, there's been some attempts to block it again, where the door's been ripped out. And, you know, teenagers gonna teenage, boys will be boys. If they felt that setting fire to it was a way to get in, they felt that setting fire to it was a way to get in. And who can really judge the bored teenagers? I mean, they learn from the very top. If Britain has an issue with, say, the Ba'athist regime in Iraq, if America has an issue with them, you don't use diplomacy or politeness or the law. You just fucking invade. Might is right. If the people at the very top can do it, why can't we do it? Oh, there's some more Dick Illuminati graffiti. 666, no post. Dick Illuminati. Yeah. Yeah. Pebble Dash. I was going to say 1940s, but no, 1929. Almost 100 years old, but you wouldn't think it, would you? It doesn't look 100 years old, and it's not going to make it to 100 unless they leave this year for another 8 years, which they probably will. It's cool seeing the sky through a collapsed roof. There's just a certain nice aesthetic to it. A kind of post-apocalyptic, post-lapsarian Walking Dead all over. I feel like I'm on the set for 28 Days Later. Speaking of film sets, I watched I Am Legend with Will Smith the other day. The book is better, but the film is great fun as well. And what they did with Central Manhattan, they did a good job. Of course, a lot of it is CGI, everything you see here is real. I'm not going to go into these structures because why die? Hey, why die? And if security do come to kick me out, I can say, no, I've not gone in, I've not risked myself, I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. Look at the moss on this ramp. Yeah. And this graffiti artist, he's got the same style for every face I've seen around here. What does it say next to it in black? Gobbo, with a big blue cock and balls. There's a lot of cock and balls. Why are these teenage boys drawing cock and balls? Because it's naughty. It's rude. Nice pine tree, Christmas tree. Very nice. But I wonder what the hell this was. My Salford viewers might have an answer as to where this was, what this is, what's going on here. But no, I mean, there's no evidence that anything here's been used in the last 20 or 30 years. It's all finished. Do you reckon it's connected? Doubt it. Anyway, we need to find a way out. Let's try and retrace my steps through the film set of the end of the Western world. Interestingly, there's been some attempt to do something. These bags of rocks, cages of rocks, look a lot newer than Mr. 1929 here. Sorry, you're getting too much solar glare. Let's try and get you a bit closer so you can see what's going on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Burnt out windows. So yeah, this chimney has been, in the past, you can see it's been locked into place. People are saying, nope, you're not going to have an unstable base. You're going to be totally based. And they've used, they've used tools, metal, to keep it stable. And I think this will be the last thing I film, guys. So let's do a bit of a walk. It's weird, this good old abandoned here, this abandoned area, has nothing to do with COVID or the pandemic, and yet I've never noticed it until lockdown. It's huge. And here's my escape. Foot there, up there, boom, 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 and bang. Back to the guy saying, I'm going to call security on you. Up the stairs to the tree, come down the stairs to the abandonment. Ventilation, old strip lights, and let's walk to the end. Couple of pigeons. I just had a very nice chat with the gentleman who said that I should not go into the abandoned area. His name is Mark. He's a proper gentleman, and he runs a company called Growing Togetherness, which is all about allotments and education and planting and gardening and making things beautiful that were once beautiful. Restoration with a green fingered slant, shall we say. And sat down with him. He's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. So we got chatting. Turns out, you know, he's just a nice guy. And he reminded me, he had super piercing blue eyes. And he looked like a slightly more auburn, kind of slightly more ginger Andrew Lincoln, who plays the sheriff in The Walking Dead. And so he says, have a look at the side, have a look at the web stuff. You'll see what we do. So there you go, guys. It's not just me. It's all of you on the Growing Togetherness is his business, and we'll go around and have a look. Now, here's the testing site, and as I walked past earlier as an amateur without my camera, the lady in the full personal protective equipment was staring at me, and her head spun like the demon girl in The Exorcist, and she was like staring. So I thought, I have to break the awkwardness, so I waved at her, and you know what she did? She stared harder.